Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Six Path Weeb, the place where anime stories take a darker, deeper, and more emotional turn. Today, we continue one of the most intense crossover journeys yet. What if Batman refused to abandon Naruko? Part 2. In the previous chapter, we saw a bond begin to form between the Dark Knight and the girl the world chose to ignore. But this time, the stakes rise even higher. New enemies emerge, hidden truths begin to surface, and Batman is forced to make choices that could change Naruko's destiny forever. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. The content on this channel is created purely for entertainment and discussion purposes. I do not own any anime footage, music, or visuals used in this video. Full credits belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Now sit back, relax, and enter the world where Gotham's protector refuses to leave Naruko behind. Let's begin. Naruko grinned brightly at Batman. So what are we waiting for? Let's train already, she exclaimed, practically bouncing with excitement. Robin blinked in surprise, and even Alfred looked amused by how energetic the young shinobi was. Batman folded his arms and slowly shook his head. You're still hurt, Naruko. Rest first. Training can wait until you recover. Naruko tilted her head in confusion. Back in her world, stopping to rest was rare during dangerous missions. She was so used to pushing forward that sitting still almost felt impossible. Batman studied her carefully. He had met strange people and seen unusual worlds before, but Naruko's world sounded completely different from anything he had ever known. Hidden villages, chakra, giant summons, and ninja clans were unlike the cities and heroes he protected every night. Alfred stepped closer and gave Naruko a gentle pat on the shoulder. Ow! Naruko yelped, falling backward onto the couch cushions. Cheater. Robin couldn't stop himself from laughing. Looks like your spirit's ready for another round, but your body disagrees. Alfred handed Naruko a large glass of water. She drank it eagerly in one long gulp. Robin smirked. Wow. You really were thirsty. Can I have more? Naruko asked hopefully. Of course, Miss Naruko, Alfred replied kindly before heading upstairs to fetch another glass and prepare tea for the others. Naruko stretched carefully and looked over at Robin. My team and I didn't get many chances to rest. We were always moving from mission to mission. As she spoke, she quietly wondered how her friends back home were doing. She hoped they were safe. Batman stepped forward, his expression serious. In your world, are there others like Orochimaru? Naruko rubbed the back of her head thoughtfully. I'm not sure if anyone's exactly like him. He was obsessed with strange experiments and learning forbidden jutsu. But there are definitely dangerous people out there. She glanced at the giant penny displayed in the Batcave before continuing. When Jiraiya-sensei and I were searching for Lady Tsunade, we met two shinobi who were incredibly strong. One was named Itachi Uchiha, and the other was Kisame Hoshigaki. Robin raised an eyebrow. What's a Hokage? Naruko brightened slightly, happy to explain. The Hokage is the leader of my village, kind of like a protector. There are 5 great ninja villages, and each has its own leader. Robin listened carefully while Batman remained silent, thinking deeply. These 2 ninja belong to a group called the Akatsuki, Naruko continued. Jiraiya-sensei said they were all powerful missing ninja. Batman's eyes narrowed slightly. Do you know what this group wants? Naruko shook her head. Not really. But they're dangerous. For a moment, the Batcave became quiet except for the soft hum of computers. Finally, Batman spoke. If they ever become a threat here, we'll be ready. Naruko sat up in surprise. How? We only know about 2 members. A small smile appeared beneath Batman's cowl. Leave that to me. Your job is to recover. Naruko slowly relaxed against the couch and nodded. A few minutes later, Alfred returned carrying fresh water and warm tea. Batman and Robin each accepted a cup while Naruko happily took another giant glass of water. Alfred glanced toward Batman. I assume you'll inform the Justice League about today's events, sir? Batman nodded once. Yes. Naruko blinked curiously. Justice League? Robin immediately grinned. They're the greatest heroes on this world. He pointed proudly toward Batman. And tall and mysterious over there is one of them. Naruko's eyes sparkled with amazement. Back home, she had grown up hearing stories about legendary ninja heroes. But the idea of an entire team of heroes protecting the world together sounded incredible. Alfred smiled warmly at Naruko. You also haven't told Miss Barbara about our guest. She's currently away on a mission with Huntress and Black Canary, Batman explained. I'll tell her once she returns. Naruko tried to stay awake a little longer, but the warmth of the Batcave and the exhaustion from her journey finally caught up to her. Within moments, soft snoring echoed through the cave. Batman looked over at the sleeping girl. Rest well, Naruko. He turned toward the glowing Zeta tube platform. Dick, keep an eye on her. Before Robin could answer, Batman vanished in a beam of light. Robin sighed dramatically before glancing at the sleeping shinobi. You know, he muttered with a grin, life was already weird enough before ninja girls started falling out of other dimensions. Batman kept his calm expression as the doors of the Batcave slid open. The cool air of the cave carried the quiet hum of computers and softly glowing monitors. Deep inside one of the medical rooms rested a young girl with bright golden hair and whisker-like marks on her cheeks. Her name was Naruko. She slept peacefully beneath a warm blanket while advanced medical machines monitored her condition. Alfred carefully adjusted the blanket around her shoulders before looking toward Batman. She's finally resting comfortably, Master Bruce, Alfred said kindly. Batman gave a small nod. Good. For the first time since finding Naruko in the crater, the Dark Knight felt slightly relieved. Back at the Watchtower, the Justice League members remained deep in thought after Batman's departure. Superman crossed his arms carefully. She's been through more than any child should ever experience. Wonder Woman's expression softened. What matters now is that she is safe. Shazam leaned back in his chair. And she won't be alone anymore. Martian Manhunter quietly closed his eyes for a moment. Using his telepathic abilities carefully from afar, he sensed only exhaustion, sadness, and a deep loneliness inside Naruko's heart. Beneath all of that, however, there was something else. Hope. She still wishes to trust others, Martian Manhunter said gently. Despite everything she endured, her spirit remained strong. That kid must be tougher than she looks, Flash said with an encouraging smile. She reminds me of Robin, Supergirl added warmly. Brave even when scared. Green Lantern glanced toward the Zeta tube where Batman had exited moments ago. Bruce is going to pretend this is just another mission, he joked lightly, but we all know he already cares about her. A few members chuckled softly. Even Aquaman allowed himself a faint smile. Meanwhile, back in the Batcave, Naruko slowly opened her eyes. The first thing she noticed was the ceiling above her. It was unfamiliar. Smooth stone walls surrounded the room, and soft lights glowed gently overhead. She immediately sat upright too quickly. Ow! Pain shot through her body, causing her to hold her side carefully. You should rest, Batman's deep voice said nearby. Naruko startled and quickly looked toward him. For a brief moment, fear crossed her face. Her hands tightened around the blanket. Batman remained still, keeping his voice calm. You're safe here. Naruko stared at him silently. She remembered the man in black armor carrying her away from the crater. She remembered his cape protecting her from the cold rain. Still, years of hardship made trust difficult. Where am I? She asked quietly. The Batcave, Batman answered. Naruko blinked. Cave? It's my home. Her blue eyes widened slightly in surprise. People usually chased her away from their homes. Batman walked closer and placed a tray of food on the nearby table. Warm soup, rice, vegetables, and tea filled the room with a comforting smell. Alfred stepped forward with a gentle smile. You must be hungry, Miss Naruko. Naruko stared at the food in complete disbelief. All this? For me? Of course, Alfred replied kindly. Naruko hesitated before slowly reaching for the spoon. At first she ate cautiously, but after the first bite her stomach growled loudly. Within seconds she began eating much faster. Batman and Alfred exchanged quiet glances. The girl had likely gone many days without proper meals. Naruko suddenly froze mid-bite. Why are you helping me? She asked softly without looking up. Batman answered honestly. Because helping people matters. Naruko lowered her eyes. She did not know how to respond to such simple kindness. For most of her life, she had heard angry whispers, cruel words, and cold silence. Kindness felt strange to her. Batman noticed her uncertainty. You can stay here while you recover, he told her. Naruko looked up quickly. Really? Yes. The young girl's eyes shimmered slightly, though she quickly rubbed them before tears could fall. I won't cause trouble, she said quickly. I can clean and help and. You don't need to earn a place here, Batman interrupted gently. Naruko went silent. No one had ever told her that before. Alfred smiled warmly. Right now, your job is simply to rest. For the first time in many years, Naruko felt warmth spread through her heart instead of loneliness. Far above Earth, the Justice League continued preparing for possible dangers from Naruko's world. Yet deep below Gotham City, something far more important had quietly begun. A lonely girl had finally found people willing to care about her. And though neither Batman nor Naruko fully realized it yet, their lives were both beginning to change for the better. Inside the Batcave, the soft glow of the Batcomputer filled the room with pale blue light. Batman stood silently beside Robin, his cape draped behind him like a shadow. Robin tapped a few keys before turning toward Batman. Alfred took Naruko to one of the spare rooms. I have to say, I'm impressed. From the X-rays, her body is mostly like ours, except for this strange energy flowing through her. She calls it chakra. On the screen, glowing lines stretched through Naruko's body like tiny rivers of light. Batman studied the image carefully. Her body is also far more durable than ours, he said calmly. And her healing ability is remarkable. Robin crossed his arms thoughtfully. And you think she survived because of that healing ability and the fox spirit inside her? Yes, Batman answered. But we can focus on the fox another time. Training Naruko will be different from training you or Barbara. She already has combat experience, but there are still many things she can learn. Robin smirked. I bet she's going to surprise you. Before Batman could answer, an alarm flashed across the Batcomputer screen. Two-Face is robbing a bank, Robin exclaimed. Batman was already heading for the Batmobile. Robin hurried after him, grabbing his mask. Wait up, Batman. Months later. Faster. Batman instructed firmly. Naruko stood in the center of the training room, sweat shining on her forehead. She wore a black long-sleeved shirt, blue jogging pants, gloves, and training shoes. In her hands were several practice batarangs. You must disarm criminals before they can endanger anyone, Batman continued. Again. Yes, Sensei. Naruko replied. With quick movements, she threw 2 batarangs in rapid succession. They struck the practice dummy perfectly. 2 more followed immediately after. Batman gave a small nod. Good. 35 laps around the mansion. Go. Naruko dashed upstairs without complaint. Several minutes later, she returned completely exhausted and dropped onto the floor with a dramatic sigh. Batman allowed himself the smallest hint of a smile. Take a break. You earned it. Naruko looked up immediately. Wait. Does this mean you'll finally take me on patrol? That depends, Batman replied. Have you decided on a name? Naruko sat upright, grinning brightly. I have. Batman waited. My name will be Talon. Robin tilted his head curiously. Why Talon? Naruko smiled proudly. In Greek mythology, Talos was a giant guardian who protected people from danger. I want to protect Gotham too. Batman nodded once. Get suited up. A few minutes later, Naruko returned wearing her new costume. Her suit was black and crimson, with a yellow T symbol on her chest. A crimson cape flowed behind her, black on the outside and red on the inside. She wore armored boots, gloves, a utility belt, and a crimson domino mask over her eyes. Robin grinned widely. Now that looks awesome. Batman turned toward the Batmobile. Black Mask has suspicious cargo arriving at the docks. Let's move. The 3 heroes climbed into the vehicle. As Gotham's lights rushed past outside, Robin looked toward Naruko. So how does it feel? Naruko leaned back with a huge smile. Amazing. Robin chuckled. You'll fit right in around here. At the docks, the trio hid in the shadows while several men unloaded metal cases beside a towering cybernetic figure. Robin's eyes widened. Metallo. Batman narrowed his gaze. Stay alert. One of the criminals opened a case, revealing glowing red kryptonite and advanced machinery. Metallo smiled coldly. Excellent. Before the deal could continue, a batarang sliced through the air and knocked the case shut. Metallo spun around. Batman. Smoke suddenly filled the dock as Batman, Robin, and Talon leapt into action. Batman disarmed several criminals with swift precision while Robin used acrobatic kicks to knock weapons safely away. Naruko flipped gracefully through the air, using ninja wires to trip attackers and pin them harmlessly to the ground. Metallo fired a beam of green energy that scattered the smoke. I'm done playing games, he shouted. Robin tossed flash pellets, forcing Metallo to shield his eyes. Batman struck quickly while Naruko rushed forward with her tanto. Metallo laughed. That little sword won't help you. Naruko smiled confidently. We'll see about that. A soft gust of wind surrounded her blade as chakra flowed through it. With careful precision, she sliced through part of Metallo's metal armor without hurting anyone nearby. Metallo stumbled back in surprise. Naruko quickly formed hand signs. Wind release, air needles technique. Tiny streams of wind struck Metallo's armor, weakening his systems without causing lasting harm. Batman activated a special device that weakened the kryptonite energy inside Metallo. Robin followed with adhesive explosives that trapped the villain in place. Talon. Batman called. Destroy the kryptonite. Naruko nodded and formed another series of hand signs. Water release, double head snake technique. Water spiraled through the air, forming two enormous serpent shapes that crashed into the kryptonite container. The glowing rock shattered safely apart. Metallo's systems flickered before finally shutting down completely. Soon afterward, police cars arrived at the docks. Commissioner Gordon stared at the defeated villain. Metallo in Gotham. That's new. Batman pressed a button on his gauntlet. Moments later, Superman landed nearby. He blinked in surprise. Metallo? What was he doing here? He was trying to obtain red kryptonite, Batman explained. Superman looked concerned before lifting the unconscious cyborg carefully. I'll take him to a secure facility. Before Superman could say anything else, Batman, Robin, and Talon had already vanished into the night. Later that evening, inside one of Black Mask's hidden buildings, Batman confronted the crime boss directly. Where did the kryptonite come from? Batman demanded. Black Mask folded his arms stubbornly. I'm not scared of you. Batman remained calm but firm. People could have been hurt. Naruko stepped beside him, crossing her arms. You should really reconsider answering. Black Mask scoffed. Why would I listen to a kid? Naruko smiled playfully and activated a device from her belt. An iron net wrapped around Black Mask tightly, pinning him safely in place. Robin laughed softly. That's one way to convince him. Naruko leaned forward slightly. Now, how about we try this again? Black Mask grumbled under his breath before finally sighing. Fine. I'll talk. But before he could continue, a bright red laser suddenly shattered the window nearby. Batman instantly pulled everyone to safety as the mysterious figure disappeared across the rooftops of Gotham. Robin stared after the shadowy stranger. Who was that? Batman narrowed his eyes. I don't know, he said quietly. But we're going to find out. Beside him, Naruko adjusted her crimson cape and smiled with determination. Then let's protect Gotham together. Dear YouTube family. That's all for now. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you for your support and being part of this journey. Regards. 6 Path Weeb.